Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Inside Edge, a podcast in which we aim to get the inside knowledge as to what makes young and aspiring athletes tick. Our guest today is Fahad Sabir, an aspiring cricketer who's represented numerous counties at second 11 level, played for Warwickshire through the age groups, as well as SACA, and is now currently on the Cardiff UCCE alongside studying at Cardiff University. Faz, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So could you talk a little bit about cricket for you growing up? So obviously you grew up in Birmingham, which is a heavy Pakistani populated area where there's obviously a lot of cricket. What was that like for you? Where did it all start?
Yeah, so cricket's very big in Birmingham. All my family sort of love cricket, grandparents, parents, etc. So I sort of grew up cricket on the TV every day, watching them play cricket. So they sort of got me into it.
And did that have any influence in you making the decision to come to Cardiff? Obviously, I know that you study here and you take your degree very seriously, but was it always for you playing for the Cardiff UCC as it's such a good program?
Yeah. I think the setup here is unbelievable, and I think it's every cricketer's dream and passion to continue playing cricket and make it as a professional. So I think Cardiff have been very supportive of that, and it was definitely something that influenced my decision to come here.
And how have you found that balance between doing such an intense degree? So first of all, can you tell me what your degree is?
Banking and finance.
And obviously in your final year now, it's probably pretty stressful, yeah. And how have you found the balance, and how has that changed through the years? Obviously getting thrown into university, moving away from home, and basically having the ability to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Have you developed, would you say, in terms of being able to structure your life, or was it a bit of an issue when you first came to university?
Yeah, I think definitely when I first came to uni, it was an issue. Like the scheme environment is very intense. Obviously, we have S&C 3 times a week, and we basically train 3 times a week as well. So to balance that with uni is very tough, and I struggled a lot with that in my first year. But as the years have progressed, I think you mature and then get into a better routine as well. So it's something I've definitely learned from that first year, and something I do a lot better now, I'd like to say.
And obviously, you're Muslim. You're currently on Ramadan, and it's probably not the easiest time of the month for you guys training wise, and obviously having all those sessions put out through a day and not being able to eat or drink. How have you managed with those in the past few years, and how was this year compared to the other ones?
Look, to be honest, I think I actually think in some ways it's very helpful. I think playing cricket during your fast actually makes your time go by a bit quicker, because you're doing something, you're on your feet, and it's something you enjoy. And when you're doing something you enjoy, the time goes by a lot quicker. So I think doing it while fasting actually helps quite a bit. Obviously, depending on weather and stuff, like it can get pretty tough in terms of hydration and stuff. But look, I always try and see the positive sides of it. So yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you spent some of your time in the last few years playing for SACA, which for people that don't know is the South Asian Cricket Association.
Yeah, Cricket Association.
So could you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so SACA was set up, I want to say maybe 4 years ago now.
Yeah, I think it was.
And it was just an initiative to give young South Asian players sort of the platform and the chance to go out there and sort of express their talents and abilities against other counties. So I think the first ever game was against Worcester, which I played in, and that whole season was like very good platform for us. We played against Worcester, Gloucester, Northants, like loads of different counties. So it was a great opportunity for us lads.
And obviously during that time of the year, you would have been fasting. Did you find that easier doing it with people who were going through the same time of the month as you, pretty much?
Yeah, definitely. I think I remember during my first year of SACA, we were playing against Yorkshire away, and everyone was fasting, and looked like the environment with all those lads during Ramadan and while we were all fasting was like unbelievable. Like we'd all wake up early morning, eat together.
Team morale very high.
Yeah. Like everything we did as a team. One of the evenings for dinner, I remember Adil Rashid like took us all out.
Obviously a hero of yours.
Yeah, so things like that are very inspiring, and something like it's also memories you make for life, things like that you remember.
Exactly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole idea of SACA was pretty much made to make sure that South Asian cricketers were getting a fair opportunity.
Yeah.
Would you say that in your years of cricket, you've personally had or seen any unfair selection towards Asian players?
I haven't seen anything directly, but I do think there's definitely some situations around the counties where it goes on. But personally, I haven't experienced it. I think my experience at Warwickshire was mostly positive. I feel like I was mistreated in some aspects, but it was never to do with race or anything like that. So all the coaches at Warwickshire and stuff with me were very good. But yeah, I'm sure it does or has happened previously, but I've never experienced it firsthand.
And I think obviously it kind of came to light a lot more, didn't it, recently with the issues at Yorkshire?
Yeah.
And such a highly regarded international player being pretty much mistreated, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So no, it's good to see that happening. And obviously the whole idea of SACA is to push these Asian cricketers into professional setups, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how has the second 11 process gone for you? So for people that don't know, second 11 cricket works that it's basically a trialist game, isn't it, against other counties alongside professionals who are just missing out on that first team squad.
Yeah.
What's second 11 cricket been like for you in general?
Very good, to be honest. I've only had positive experiences with second 11 cricket, and it's good in a sense because you go up the next level, so you get to compete with other professional cricketers, and you learn so much off all of them. Even indirectly, they may not explain anything to you, but when you watch them in different aspects of their game, you can just learn from different players. So yeah, very positive, very good.
Are there any players you've played with or against through those fixtures that would you say you've taken a lot away from, or someone that you've maybe looked up to in the past and maybe just analysing their game has maybe made you a better player?
Mate, to be honest, off the top of my head, I remember playing for Somerset second 11 and James Hildreth.
Somerset legend.
Yeah, very experienced cricketer, and I think for someone like him to be in the second 11, could be a little bit demoralising. But I feel like those 4 days, the way he carried himself, the way he played, and the attitude he sort of brought to those 4 days stood out for me, definitely. And it's just something that I aspire to be at that age, still loving cricket, whatever standard I'm playing.
100%. I'd say in my cricket, I've seen a lot of players. You see a mix, don't you? You see a lot of players who've played at the highest level and then come to play maybe professional cricket that's not international, and they think they're too good to be there.
Yeah.
And then you get the ones, obviously, as you've said, James Hildreth there, who pretty much keeps level-headed the whole way through.
Yeah, very humble, loved it all, and was happy to offer advice where needed and stuff. So.
And how have you found that? So obviously in that second year of university, so 2-3 years ago, that, and still to this day, having to play club cricket in Birmingham, and then go up north to play in Bradford for a 3-day game, and then come back to Cardiff to play a 50-over competition, for the UCC. How have you found that mentally and physically? Because obviously I know you've had injury problems.
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
Look, I think physically it's very draining. As you know, my injuries haven't been great over the last couple of years. But that's just something I have to deal with, and it's something out of my control. But in terms of all the traveling and stuff, I think when you're doing it with people you enjoy, for example, you and I might be traveling to Oxford.
Yeah.
Time goes by a lot quicker, and obviously cricket is something we've got a passion for, and we've trained our whole lives for moments like this. So I think you just got to remember why you're doing it and stay motivated the whole time. And
it's an experience with your mates, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Talk to me a little bit about the injuries. So I know at the minute you've had issues with a knee and a broken finger. Is it a broken finger? Thumb. And obviously a couple of years ago, was it your tricep?
Yeah, tore my tricep.
So you've missed a lot of cricket. And obviously being so close to the summer and one of them happening during the summer.
Yeah.
It's probably not been the easiest. How have you dealt with that mentally? And have you ever had to go to someone to talk about maybe the whole idea of missing sport?
Mate, to be honest, I think my circle of friends are very good and very close to me. For example, someone like yourself, I know I can pick up the phone anytime when I'm feeling down and just have a little chat with you. So in terms of speaking to people, my close mates are very supportive, and as are my family as well, mum and dad. In terms of the injuries, the tricep, that was very frustrating because it was mid-season. I had just signed for a new club. And I couldn't bowl for the rest of the year. And we also had a Bucks semi-final game and final, which I had to miss because of my tricep. So
did that happen in the gym as well? Was that a gym?
It was gym/cricket. I sort of trained on a Friday, probably lifted too heavy. And then the next day I've gone to bowl a low arm ball.
Yeah.
And like, I've just heard a crack, and I looked at Xavier extra cover, and I was like, mate, I think I've torn my tricep.
Jesus.
So that was very annoying. And then my knee's sort of been an ongoing issue this whole winter. I've just got something, this unfortunate thing on my leg called a vascular angioma, which sort of affects my knees, but it's something I've had my whole life and something I've just got to learn to deal with. So I'll be back bowling hopefully next week and ready for the season.
Would you say that your maturity towards the gym and kind of understanding your limits, especially during the season when it's very hard,
Yeah.
you might be in the gym once or twice a week, and obviously that injury has probably come from a session that wasn't on the program, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So would you say that you've matured gym-wise and kind of just understanding your own body, especially through the summer with all the traveling and the playing?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe you can be a little bit naive, like when you're a little bit younger, thinking like I can just smash gym all the time. Like
Lads
I'm
will be lads, won't they? Trying to ego lift.
A little bit like invincible, something like that. But mate, we're very fortunate. Like we've got an S&C program, we've got physios, we've got very good facilities here. So definitely what I've taken on board is listen to them and just do what they say, and we'll be okay for the season.
Yeah. And obviously you haven't really been able to run at all this winter due to your knee. Is that something that worries you going into the season? Obviously going from pretty much zero load to every other day playing cricket full time. Is that something that you kind of have a plan as to how to manage, or will it be pretty hope that there's no pain?
Yeah, I'm sort of hoping I'll be okay. Obviously, as I said, the support we have with the physios and stuff, they've been very supportive to me and helped me a lot through this process. But I also think like I've been doing my conditioning elsewhere, for example, ski ergs, etc. So I'm hopefully next week start running again, ease back into it. And I should be okay for the season. Like, I've had this injury before and I've coped through it, so hopefully I should be okay.
So obviously moving on for you, so talking about diet during in those summer months, and especially around the Ramadan time, have there been any in recent times? Because I know the month changes throughout the year. Has there been any in the peak of summer?
Yeah, there has.
How have you found that?
Mate, it's tough. Honestly, it is tough because the days are so much longer. So you might finish a cricket game at 7 p.m, but you've still got an hour left to eat. And like you're so thirsty, and like obviously all the lads are like tacking into tea
In front of you, and it's
and I'm just sitting there on the side. But mate, honestly, like it's a very good experience to go through. Like, honestly, like the whole month, like the purpose is to get closer to God and like get closer with the religion, and things like that. So, and it definitely does help. Like the mental strength it gives you, like, is crazy.
For the rest of the year, it's pretty straightforward for you then from there.
Yeah.
But so looking forward to your season, especially with the injury as well, what's your priority in terms of teams to play for? So obviously you have the Cardiff UCCE.
Yeah.
You have potentially SACA, potentially second 11 cricket, and you've also got club cricket, which now, I hope you don't mind me saying, that's a lot of the boys, they get paid, it's their job to play club cricket on the weekends.
A little bit of dough.
Yeah. So what's your priority in terms of managing your injury as well as being able to play for as many teams as you can, as much as you can?
So whoever I play for at the moment, skiing, Bedminster, whoever, like they all know about my injury. But I've reassured them all, like, I'll be okay for the season. So I think I just need to manage my load in terms of make sure I'm 100% fit for a Saturday, don't risk it and like train on a Thursday, for example. Like I back my skills enough and to like just go in a Saturday and perform. Like I back my consistency and things like that. So and I hope the coaches do as well.
Yeah. They've seen enough of you though, probably to hope that you will be fine, even though.
Yeah, I think the coaches know, and obviously the captain on Saturday knows that I'll be okay. So just managing my load and things like that, and then hopefully performing in these scheme games and club games will lead on to some second 11 cricket. I know that happens later on in the summer, so hopefully I can have a little bit of breathing space and then hop into that.
Exactly, and obviously being at a full-time university student and being pretty much a full-time cricketer as well, training every other day, like a lot of hours.
Yeah.
How have you found the balance between the two? And has there ever been times where you've had to make a decision, right, I can't train this week because I have to do my, because I know you've literally come here straight from an exam.
Yeah, I literally just had a presentation.
So how have you found that kind of being able to balance your time? I know you weren't at training yesterday and you might have missed it this week. How has that been for you? And obviously having to make the sacrifice for the future pretty much.
Look, it's very tough. Like, people obviously enjoy cricket a lot more than studying. So
do you fall into that bracket as well?
100%. So I obviously want to train, but at the same time, like, as you get older, you realize the importance of a degree and an education. Like, for example, we were just talking about injuries. Like, I could go to the physio on Monday and she's like, no, your knee's messed up. Like, you've got to retire from cricket.
Exactly.
And if I don't have my degree, then I don't know what I would do. So I think as you get older, your priorities change and you sort of realize that, look, like, you do need to get a degree. Education is very important. So, and it's something like, from a young age, like, my parents drilled it into me, and at the time I'd be like, no, like, I'm going to be a cricketer.
There's no other option.
As you get older, like, you realize what they were saying the whole time was right. So
exactly. And we were saying in a previous podcast I did, the importance of kind of having that to fall back on, because obviously cricket's a pretty small career in comparison to others, isn't it? In fairness, you look at other sports, maybe football, where it's more cardio, where people do get slower as time goes on. Obviously, cricket, you can, the maximum you can really play to is 40.
Yeah.
So there is still a lot of time to.
There is a cut-off age. Yeah.
Exactly. And would you say that your priorities have changed since these reoccurring injuries, and thinking maybe cricket could be an issue because at some point your body might just not let you do it anymore?
Yeah, I know. Look, I'll always play cricket and I'll always try and become a professional cricketer for as long as I can. But as I said before, as I'm getting older, my priorities slowly are changing. And I'm looking to get in the finance world, hopefully. And that's my main priority for now. But obviously, I will always play cricket. And if it happens, it happens. And I'll be very happy if it does.
And looking through to the summer, your priorities, is that trying to be as close to fit whilst also kind of managing it? Or is it...
Yeah, so I've got a little bit of breathing space now, so I've just done my presentation. So I've got a couple of weeks off uni until the first game of the season. So during those 2 weeks, my priority is definitely getting fit and getting into a good rhythm with my bowling. And I think over the summer, the more cricket I play, obviously, the better I'll become. And I think my injuries should hopefully hold up if I get my training right over these next 2 weeks.
What does the summer look like for you? Because obviously you will pretty much have finished university, looking for a job, but you're also heavily involved in cricket in the Southwest, even though you live in the Midlands.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So fortunately for me, I only live in Solihull, which is like sort of outskirts of Birmingham. So the motorway is very like accessible. So like, for example, Bedminster is only 40 minutes away. But I think this summer I'm just going to sort of balance time with parents, time with the boys, playing cricket and also applying for jobs. And I think there's enough time over the summer to balance them equally. Yeah,
no, 100%.
So definitely,
especially with the degree kind of being finished. And it's all eyes on the future pretty much, isn't it, for that
100%.
summer?
Once the degree's done, then it's all focused on those things.
Is there an ideal world for you, and where is that, where you can find a job at a high level and also be able to train cricket full time? Where would that be for you in an ideal world?
To be honest, I think it depends on like what sort of job I'll go into. Obviously, I want to go into a very good job, which is high paid. I know you can't start like right at the top, but everyone's got to start somewhere. So, and I think cricket's a big selling point for me on my CV. For example, like a lot of firms look for leadership skills, teamwork skills.
Yeah. You've obviously done your fair share of captaincy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that will definitely help me when applying for jobs. And I think they'll be very respective of it. If I do need to go away for a week or so and train, they'll be more than happy to let me, because it's a proud thing for them as well. One of their employees going off to play cricket and represent a team. So
looks good on them as well, doesn't it? Giving breathing space for people that work for them to kind of
definitely
have that leeway to go and do what they love.
Yeah.
So quickly, I just want to talk about Pakistan and kind of where you've come from. Have you, obviously I know you go home or go back to Pakistan quite a lot.
Yeah.
Do you play a lot of cricket out there? Or is it more just visiting family?
So I've been to play cricket and I've been to visit family. I've been twice to play cricket for a couple of weeks, and the majority of the time it is to visit family. But even visiting family, I'm still playing cricket out there.
It's just cricket everywhere.
It's just cricket everywhere. Like, mate, honestly, I can't describe it, how good it is.
How would you compare the setup of professional teams? Because obviously I know you've been in and about the professional teams in Pakistan and seen what they're about.
Yeah.
What would you say there's much comparison between the ones here and obviously even the Cardiff UCC, who are on pretty much a professional level training wise, and the counties you spent time with? Is there much difference?
Yeah, look, I think one big thing is the facilities. In Pakistan, unfortunately, they don't have the same facilities we do. Like, we're a university side bordering on professional, but our facilities will be like 10 times better than what they have in Pakistan.
They've got the heat though.
Yeah. Well, that's the skill set is like so different. So, for example, the skills that I'll have from playing in England will be completely different to the skills that someone has in Pakistan, because the pitches are different.
Very different.
They're so much flatter. So yeah, obviously different factors like that go into it.
Yeah. We've also seen recently a lot of slander going towards the Asian teams about fitness.
Yeah.
And kind of basically them not being athletic enough and stuff like that. Would you say that there's a big difference between the Englands, the Australians?
Yeah.
So obviously all the boys you see in S&C here in comparison to maybe what goes on back home?
Yeah, I think definitely back home in Pakistan, one thing they definitely do have is a lack of nutritional information.
Okay.
Like, I'll go back to Pakistan and I'm eating chapatis, I'm eating curries, and I won't stop eating.
Not the most optimal for performance.
So definitely a lack of nutritional information. Obviously, as they go up in terms of cricket standards, that will get better. But mate, it's so unfortunate. Like, there'll be so many like street cricketers and stuff you'll see who'll be like, mate, probably 10 times better than me, but
because they never got the opportunity.
Yeah, because they don't have the money, or they can't afford to travel somewhere. Like, they just won't get the opportunity.
I'm interested to see in what you think. Would you say that Pakistan punch above their weight in cricket? Because obviously there's so many. I'm not sure what the population is in Pakistan, but obviously everyone plays cricket there.
Yeah.
It's similar to football here, but at the same time, the facilities aren't as good. The understanding about, as you said there, health and nutrition, and obviously just access to coaching obviously is so different just due to the amount of cricketers there are.
Yeah.
Would you say they punch above their weight, or would you say they punch below their weight?
Mate, I think definitely at the moment punching below their weight.
Okay.
Pakistan currently is in a very unfortunate political position where, unfortunately, Imran Khan, who won us the World Cup in 1992, is in prison because of the current government. And mate, to be honest, I don't look into it too much because I try and stay out of it. But from what I know, if you don't support that government, you're not going to play cricket for Pakistan.
Okay.
Whereas while Imran Khan was prime minister, it was just based on who's like the best team.
So there's a bit too much politics going on.
Yeah. Like, for example, our best two T20 players in the world, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, are not playing in the current T20 team, who are touring New Zealand. Like, it's crazy.
Especially when players like that are at the pretty much the top of their career, aren't they? Just before retire, in the middle of their career. It's not great
mental.
To see.
Yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing about Pakistan, is the political system and how heavily it weighs on the cricket.
Would you, obviously you don't have to say too much if you don't want to, but would you say you've seen much politics in the UK setup?
I don't know. Not really, I don't think.
Because obviously there's been issues with the way Asian cricketers have been treated in the setup, and that's 100% justifiable. But would you say that there's been anything that you've seen that doesn't maybe sit right for you?
Mate, one thing I will say is I don't think it's always Asian cricketers being discriminated against.
Okay.
I feel like throughout my age group from Warwickshire, I'm a very fortunate person in the sense that I can come up to whoever and socialise.
Yeah.
And whereas some young Asian cricketers, unfortunately, because of the environment that they're brought up in, struggle to socialise and interact with other teammates. And I think that's where they fall down slightly.
I was going to say, because following on from that, there has been, even in cricket in England, there is quite a lot of segregation between, you see heavily Asian teams, don't you? And then heavily English teams, or maybe Irish teams or someone else. So is that a thing in Birmingham much, or especially in the top leagues, or is it just best versus best?
Mate, to be honest, in the Birmingham Prem, it's best versus best. But as you go down the leagues, it's more like just friends playing with each other.
Yeah.
And like
you can see that maybe people don't.
Yeah. And the unfortunate situation is a lot of the time Asians are mates with Asians.
Yeah.
Rather than everyone mixing
just more
in
common potential. Is there some language issues as well?
Yeah,
things like that.
Potentially. So that's something that I've definitely seen, which I think should be changed. Obviously, it's not up to someone to change it. It's just up to the individual to socialise and adapt to different environments.
There's one more question I want to ask you.
Go on.
If you had the choice to play a test match in Pakistan, would you play for England or Pakistan? Which one would you rather play for?
I'd play for England.
Play for England?
Yeah.
It's interesting you said that, because we had Nick House-the-Cleek on before this, and he also said he'd play for England.
Yeah.
Is there a reason behind that?
Mate, I've actually had like jokey conversations with like grandparents.
I was going to say, have you been asked this before?
Yeah. And they're all like, who would you play for? And mate, 100% England. Like, I was born and brought up in England.
Have you told them that?
I have told them, and they're more than happy with it, mate. Like, you see players like Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali, and how they've come up through the system from similar backgrounds like me. But mate, they all say as well, like, born and brought up in England. Yeah. You grow up watching England.
Yeah. They're your heroes at the end of the day, aren't they? That's 100%. Who you want to play for.
So yeah, I think definitely England.
And obviously, one thing that doesn't really probably come into a factor that should do is if you play for Pakistan, there's probably a lot less money on the table than playing for England, because of you're not allowed to play in the IPL due to the politics. You're maybe not get picked up in as many franchise leagues. So obviously, I'm sure you've never thought about that. But
I think definitely from like a money making and business point of view, 100% makes sense playing for England as well.
Yeah, because obviously at the end of the day, that's
how you're going to. You play cricket. Obviously, you love it, but you need to make money as well. You need to make an earning.
Exactly. Right. Well, thank you very much, Faz, for joining us. Mate. It's been a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and tune in for the next episode.